All right, Wolfpack wrestling fans, check it out. Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast is back. Head coach Pat Popolizio. I see video this year, Pat.
This is new and improved. All your time off really did pay off, Ryan. I'm very impressed.
I tell you, some old voices, I guess, on this podcast, but a fresh new look. Great partnership we have with the Wolfpack Wrestling Club and the Wolfpack RTC. Pat, that organization, we're going to be working with them. They really stepped it up. It looks like they bought us a couple cameras because this is pretty wild for a podcast to be video now. I feel like we're stepping into 2015 here. So we're getting there.
We're moving in the right direction, that's for sure.
A little bit, you haven't done a podcast all summer, which is nothing new, but, we're back with it. I think we got to shout out Hayden Hidley, first of all. He really picked it up last year. Fans got a very unique perspective as a former wrestler on the podcast. There's a lot of pressure doing the podcast. Unfortunately, I feel like Hayden got run off because of the responsibilities. Is that what he told you at the end?
No, it was good experience. He did a great job at it too.
Hayden did a great on the podcast. I think wrestling fans are going to miss him on the broadcast for ACC Network for those home duels. So he really brought something to that. But, he moved on, got a different school. We're going to be talking. You had some new additions to your staff. But big news, there's nothing bigger. The Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast is video form.
It's back.
I had to give you a warning. I couldn't just tape here with a couple seconds notice. I gave you a whole day warning.
You did. You sure did. You got time to prepare as usual.
But we're going to be talking a lot of NC State wrestling, obviously. A lot of Wolfpack Wrestling Club action is going on soon. But before we start talking about NC State wrestling, some housekeeping here at the brand new Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. Obviously, if you're watching this new episode, you know where to find the podcast in this new video form. But I must take a quick second to point out where all our episodes will be moving forward. And Pat, check out that banner down at the bottom. Can you see it?
Unbelievable what you've been able to accomplish.
Wolfpack Wrestling Club, they stepped up. They must have bought the premium package here. So
we sure did.
I think it's great. Thank you, RTC. But each episode will be posted to both the brand new Wolfpack RTC YouTube page and the Wolfpack Wrestling Club's Rock Pin page. We'd appreciate if you subscribe to both channels. Give us a like for every episode. It's going to help with sponsorships moving forward. There's already been a lot of buzz about people coming in and helping us out with this podcast. But with this new partnership with the Wolfpack Wrestling Club, I think we have to take some time and talk about the RTC. Busy summer, Pat. We're going to go over some activities, but you guys have been very active this whole summer. Just kind of talk overall how it's been going.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It has been a busy summer. Put 2 guys on a world team. Also got some guys on the national team. So there was some overseas trips that happened and one that's getting ready to happen. And, our guys had a great showing this past spring and summer with some really good freestyle results, bringing home our 7th medal in the last couple of years here at NC State. So we are extremely proud of those accomplishments. And, we're looking to add one more when Isaac leaves next week for the U23 World Championships.
Great teaser. I think we're episode 2 has already been booked here. Isaac's going to be on the podcast tomorrow before he leaves. I think he's going to Albania.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know much about Albania, to be honest with you.
We're going to test your geographic skills.
Love Europe. Or is that Asia? I think it's Europe. Okay.
Yeah.
But before we get to Isaac, let's start with sophomore Matty Singleton in his run at the U20 World Championships. And after winning the spot on the U.S. team at 79 kilos at the World Team Trials, Singleton and associate head coach Adam Hall traveled to Jordan a couple of months back and brought home a world medal for the Wolfpack RTC. Singleton earned the bronze, ending his run with a wild back and forth 9-7 defeat of Turkey for his medal. He was 4-1 overall, and he had previous international experience in Greco-Roman, but this was his first time in freestyle. But we saw Singleton in and out of the lineup at 165 last year, including he helped score some points at ACCs. But Pat, how will this experience of bringing home a world medal from Matty moving forward help him out? And just what kind of progress has there been from year 1 to year 2 in your rim for him?
Yeah, I think this one goes back to the finish that he had at the ACC tournament. It kind of think it was motivating for him. He didn't get what he wanted out of the college season, so he definitely showed up in the spring for the freestyle. I think it's important to note he dealt with a lot of adversity. He ended up breaking his hand at the ACC tournament, had surgery, got cleared, got a couple weeks of training in. He was obviously still doing some things, but had a cast on his hand from ACCs all the way up until he got released. Had a really good tournament at the trials, beat a lot of really good guys, and I think that just shows the level he's at and how fast he's improving. He had a really good training cycle going into the World Championships. Coach Hall and the rest of the staff did a really good job preparing him for what he would see out there, and I think he left with a ton of confidence. Anytime you can go out and compete at the world level like that, you got to know you're one of the best guys in the U.S. And historically, anyone that's representing the U.S. is usually getting some good results at the World Championship. So he had a lot of really good matches, and I think knows what he needs to work on still. And note that he actually wrestled in that World Championships with his other hand being broken, and got back and had surgery and is still recovering now in a cast. But I just think it speaks to the toughness that he has, being able to wrestle through some minor injuries that, most people, he had that decision. Does he get surgery and forego the World Championships, or does he wrestle through it? And he made that decision to wrestle through it. It was something that wasn't going to get any worse, but it definitely was painful for him. And it just showed his mental toughness out there competing and bringing home a bronze medal.
Sounds like you're in some kind of bunker over there. Where do we have you from today?
We got the weight room behind us. It's blaring some music. So
okay, well, little adversity for you too today.
What we deal with here, good in the office.
Yeah. How is, you said Matty? Obviously he has a cast on right now, but he went through preseason training. He's in the room right now. Everything kind of on schedule this year with all that.
Yeah, I think he'll finally be cleared second semester. He's obviously got the cast on. The luxury with that is you can still do all the training that we were doing in the preseason. Things are altered a little bit when it comes to the lifts, but let's face it, you can run with the cast on. You can do stance motion with the cast on. You can do a lot of creative things, which he's doing, and he looks really good, really healthy, and excited to get him back in the room and start training when he's clear.
Blast those quads. Going to be leg day every day.
Oof, yeah, he's got him.
Get him on the Stairmaster.
Yeah, well, he's on there.
Okay, I know that's your toy over there.
It is. That's my baby.
Second current Wolfpack wrestler will also have an upcoming chance at his first world medal. Junior Isaac Trumbull will be making the trip over to Albania to compete at the U23 World Championships later in October. And actually, I know we're taping this on a Tuesday. It's less than a week away, so really coming up here. Not only is this a great experience for Isaac, but also doing it at a new weight. He earned the spot for the actual U.S. senior national team at 97. That's how he got to be on the U23s. But Pat, what's behind Isaac moving up a weight class, and what kind of opportunity is this for him to bring home a world medal?
Great opportunity. And it started in the spring. He did make that jump up to, the next weight class, which I think has been a good thing for him. It's not hard for him to put on any size. As you know, he's pretty big to begin with. So you got to see his natural weight, and he's got a really good skill set for freestyle and had a really good U.S. Open, and his training's been phenomenal. Coach Tariq Wilson's been in there every day with the RTC along with the rest of our staff. So he's getting a lot of really good looks. He's had a really structured, in-depth training plan to prepare him for the World Championships, and he's going to have a tough style. I think that's one thing when you watch Isaac wrestle. It's hard to get a feel for a guy that wrestles like him. So that's going to work into his favor, and it's a great opportunity to go out and accomplish something that one of his goals on paper is to win a world championship.
I know Tariq doesn't mind going up a weight class or two.
No, Tariq 170 right now, I think.
But U23s, Wolfpack RTC almost had two other guys go too. I don't know if a lot of fans know. So Dylan Fishback, he won the spot, but because Aaron Brooks was on the senior national team, Brooks got the choice. Was that correct?
Yep.
So, and then
it's the same way Isaac made the team.
Yep. And then Camacho actually could have went. I have no idea how he's still under 23. I thought he was like 28 or something.
No,
but
he came in at 17.
So a little snafu at the final X. He didn't get to weigh in. So no one knew the rules back then either. I know you guys were working on that for a while, but ended up where USA Wrestling said Camacho could not get that spot. So Wolfpack RTC very close to 3 guys at the U23s this summer.
Yeah, we had really good showing at U23s with a couple guys in the finals. Ryan Jack, being a match away there, and the same with Ed Scott. I think those are matches that if those guys could have gotten the W, would have found themselves wrestling this tournament as well. But that's why we keep getting better and keep training, so make sure we'll be in a better position.
Of course, if we're talking about upcoming wrestling events, none gets the Wolfpack fans more fired up than a new NC State wrestling season quickly approaching. Pat, there's no such thing as an off season. I know some schools put out there that they started practice. Practice goes year round. But how has it been a couple weeks into you guys have been transitioning into this new preseason here?
It's been great. I think that's one thing we've worked really hard on this off season is kind of alter some of the things we're doing and implementing some new training techniques. More so on the cardio side of things, so we can strategically plan to wrestle our best come March. And our guys have done a phenomenal job adjusting to some of the changes that we've made here as a staff and responding very well. It's been, action-packed summer. Like you said, there was really no break. We got a couple weeks off in August and then rolled right into, what we do historically as a preseason, and then official practice starting right after fall break. But the biggest thing for us is making sure everyone comes in feeling 100% healthy and then being well rested at the same time, because we all know this is a really long season. And we got a lot of talent and experience this year. So we're looking to put our best foot forward when it really matters this season.
Any movement on going to one semester? Has that been kind of tabled for a little while?
I feel like we've been talking about this since day one. So until it happens, I think it's all rumors at this point.
I noticed there's no pieces of paper on your desk. I know you cleaned up, but for months, you had a sheet of paper on your desk with that schedule tightly guarded in your office drawer. It's been there for months. You finally let Wolfpack fans know the schedule. Thank you for tweeting that out. We all appreciated that. But
I know you were putting a lot of heat and pressure on me about the schedule.
Well, I put it out the day before you did, and I guessed everything right, and I got no credit. I think you just copied my article, but
I think you copied mine.
Exciting schedule, lots of great duels, in-season tournament, of course, ACC championships down the road at UNC, NCAAs in Kansas City. But Pat, how do you like how the schedule fell into place when we talk about your team goals and being able to peak at the right times?
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's always challenging to get people obviously want the schedule out sooner, but there's a lot of behind the scenes action that goes on with scheduling with multiple teams using rentals. So that part's sometimes a challenge to get things locked in. And then you got the TV with the ACC network. So it worked out good to get, back-to-back home matches. Obviously, we want to try to add a couple more home duels. That's something we're going to continue to work on. But, we know we need to get some really good high-end teams in here. It didn't really technically fall that way for home duels, but I feel really good about the competitive side of things of what we have for strength of schedule this year. As we've put together one of the tougher schedules we've had over the years, and our guys need it. Our guys are ready for it, and we're excited for the challenges that lie ahead and continue to improve week to week. I really am excited. Obviously, that Vegas tournament's always one of the marquee tournaments as the season progresses, and then you look at some of the duels that we got lined up, especially now adding Oklahoma State kind of as a late add, but that's going to be a dual meet that I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see, on top of knowing when we go out to Nashville and get a chance to wrestle Ohio State, Northern Iowa, and Lockheed.
Great schedule. If you want to view the entire schedule, Pat has it posted on gopack.com. But as you mentioned, I want to point out Wolfpack better be ready for a huge month come February. all inside Reynolds Coliseum in a span of a few weeks. North Carolina, Virginia, Cornell, Virginia Tech, all coming into town for duels. We're obviously going to preview these as they get closer, but UVA, almost a whole new starting lineup, and their best recruiting class in years is coming out of redshirt. So that's going to be an interesting team to watch. UNC has a new coach at the helm of their program. Cornell and Virginia Tech now on paper both look to be in contention for a team trophy. Pat, the schedule has a lot of great action before we get to February, but those duels inside Reynolds, one of the best environments for college wrestling. It's hard not to be excited for what will be coming to Raleigh this coming season.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of talent in that building. And I think the good part about that is it's consistent, on a Friday night, back-to-back weeks. We can continue to expand our fan base and you get some new people inside Reynolds. They're going to be hooked, and they'll have four good weeks of good Friday night duels on top of, an ACC tournament that's right down the road that I'm sure we can make that kind of a home atmosphere for our team when our fans show up there in a sea of red.
Got to light it red.
Speaking
ACC Network, I saw you guys had Rock Harrison in town this week.
Rock came in. He did his typical tour.
I was going to say, you talk about someone who gets excited for wrestling. Rock loves to promote wrestling. He does a great job promoting the ACC. I'm sure you guys had a great visit.
Yeah, no, he does a phenomenal job. And, as our conference continues to expand and more people are attracted to it, he's been a big part of that. And we're thankful he's on our side and continues to carry that passion for college wrestling and ACC.
See, I'm busy here because check out. Oh, wait, I got another banner here. Oh, that's awesome.
Perfect.
I love Wolfpack Wrestling Club came through with this technology, but there might not be a duel for a little bit, but the NC State wrestling team will be in Reynolds Coliseum to kick off that campaign with the annual wrestle-offs, which are not far away. This year, the wrestle-offs will be on Friday night, October 27th. That's the night before the Clemson football game. And wow, that's coming up really fast and always signals the start of your season. Pat, what are you looking to accomplish in this year's wrestle-offs?
It's again, first time we get to wrestle in Reynolds. It's been a while. Historically, we've always carried our exhibition wrestle-off matches in the indoor facility, and I think it'll be good, kind of a test run for a lot of guys getting in Reynolds and getting that feel, and really just to get the cobwebs off for the first time, getting down the weight, and then to me, it's just kind of an open practice. I know for the guys it might mean a little bit, but you're putting a singlet on, you got a ref out there, you're going to get a little bit of nerves out of it. So you want to run through that little trial run for the guys, and I think we're going to see that. And we'll turn around the next week. And the luxury with our schedule is I know we're not at home, but we're pretty close to home when we go down to Fort Liberty, get a duel Presbyterian, and then that following Friday, short, quick week with 2 duels, wrestling App State. Again, I know we're not at home, but it's not too far of a trip for a lot of people that are in the state of North Carolina to come watch the Wolfpack.
You guys are really putting in the travel miles, some impressive trips this year. But like you said, there's some great duels that you were able to get accomplishing going a couple different states and different areas this year.
Yeah, and we had to go chase down the competition that we knew we needed to see. And if that meant going on the road, that's what we had to do. And I think our guys are going to be prepared come March because of the level of competition that we'll see this year. And it won't be, because of the lack of competition. I'm confident when the season's over, every guy will have seen some of the best guys in the country. And, again, what you want to do is be tested all year so you're ready come March.
Yeah, I did a piece for the wolfpacker.com. Shout out for me for doing some extra work. But it seems every guy, just looking at duels right now, because you don't know who you're going to hit at Vegas, almost every guy, every starter, they're going to be hitting 2 or 3 top 15, top 10 guys even. So really impressive duel matchups. But we talked about some of the Wolfpack Wrestling Club. Once again, our great new sponsor to this brand new video version of the Pack Mentality Poppins podcast. Touched on the schedule. Now, Pat, you haven't done a podcast for a while. There's been a lot of rule changes this summer, probably the most I've seen in my 15 years working around wrestling. Would you think that would be accurate?
Yeah, I agree. And you're an experienced guy now, so
I am.
It's saying a lot.
Grizzled. Is that a good word?
That's a good word.
Okay.
You're on fire today. You're on fire today.
You're the wordsman of the duo here, but one of the big changes, and it wasn't a rule change, but I think something very beneficial I wanted to touch on first. The NCAA has allowed a fourth full-time assistant. So this means your staff grew a little bit. You had some changes in staff, but now joining you as full-time assistant coaches, former All-Americans, Pac fans very familiar with, your guys in the room very familiar with. So I was imagining a smooth transition, but Kevin Jack and Tommy Gant are both now on staff. Could you talk about how they've had an impact over the last few years, and how great of an opportunity are these two guys for you?
Yeah, and I think it was a good move by the NCAA. Having that fourth assistant was much needed for recruiting and different things that we were able to do as coaches, and free up some more time for coaches. When you only had 3 on staff, it required a lot of. Obviously, we travel a lot with recruiting and different things that we have to do as coaches. But when you add that fourth assistant now that can go out on the road, definitely frees up a little more time and allows us to really give back to the guys here and continue to recruit. But yeah, no, Tommy and Kevin have been a huge factor into the growth of this program over the years. And I think it's important to note that Tommy's probably been here the longest out of anyone that's on staff. He wasn't on staff, but Tommy's been here prior to my arrival. He was already on roster. So through his college career, staying here as an athlete, he's been very loyal to this university and this department and NC State wrestling. So I think he's got 1 year above me as far as being familiar with Raleigh and NC State, and mirrors the mentality and everything that we embrace as far as a program. And then, Kevin came in a year after my arrival. So those two guys have been here for a while. They understand, what it is that we're looking for when it comes to the training, just the mentality. And they've been really good additions to the guys, helping them with the growth and development. So it's been a good combination and a good mix as we've obviously changed up some things this year, and excited to see these guys keep working with what we have in that room.
Kevin Jack, another guy that likes to jump up weight classes, but he knows I say that all the time to him. So enjoys his meals, but that's good.
We're retired now.
Yeah. Rule changes, lots. The one I thought was kind of interesting, 2-hour weigh-ins. Now, fans should know when you guys go to tournaments, it's 2 hours, but duels, it's only an hour. So now the way I read it, everything is 2 hours. How is that going to change what you guys do before a duel? Because you guys used to go into the room, work out hard, weigh in, and kind of relax for that 45 minutes. But now there's an extra hour in there between weigh-ins and duels. So how do you see that working out?
Yeah, we're going to have to play around with it this year. I think every guy's going to find what they enjoy and what makes them feel better when they go out to compete. So we're going to experiment, but I think we got a good plan in place to start with, and we'll critique it. And that's the luxury of a long season, is come February, we need to have a complete system down. But in the meantime, we're going to experiment and see what works best for every guy. But it is going to be different. The 1 hour weigh-in was rushed. You almost could use your pre-match drill for warming up for the matches. And now, you look at a guy, maybe he's the 8th or 9th match of the night, you're going on a 4-hour window there if you wait in, and you got to re-warm up. So we got to be strategic with that. We got to take that stuff into account and map out a plan. So, we'll digest into that and get things sorted out. But I think it'll be healthy. Guys can now make weight, kind of put some food in their system and go out and put a show on for fans. And that's on both sides. That's not just us. The opposing competition is going to, both athletes are going to be feeling their best, hopefully, when they go out there to compete.
So with the 2-hour weigh-in, is there still coaches get to pick if they want to start at a certain weight, or is it all 125? Did that change at all?
I'm pretty sure it's the same as what it was last year. So if you want to pick a weight, you can. Okay. And I don't know if there's really any benefit to that.
That's what I was getting to. So thank you.
Yeah, I figured your sarcasm.
There is no sarcasm on this. I tell you. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here's a big one. 3-point takedown. So unfortunately, foam fingers with the 2 can no longer be used inside Reynolds Coliseum. We're going to have to get. I know you're looking for it.
This is going to be this is the vintage topic right here.
I tell you what, save that for eBay. That's a collector's item.
I think so. I think this is going to be worth something.
There are no longer 2-point takedowns. They're all going to be 3. So I guess, that's a world of difference. Coach is going to have to a little bit of strategy, I think. Now, obviously, you always go for takedowns, but some guys might be letting up guys rather than trying to stay on top and go for 3 more points. And that's something you guys are going to have to work with. But positives of a 3-point takedown in college wrestling now.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a little more action in the beginning of matches, but it definitely could change. If you're up by 2 points with 30 seconds to go, you can see guys try to stall it out now and give up a stall call because they can afford to do that. So there's going to be some definitely gamemanship that will play out with the new rules. We're going to see over time and how that works. I also think you're going to see a lot more majors and dual meets as well, just because of the 2 takedowns. It's already 6 points. So if you're scoring 3 takedowns in a match, you're obviously in striking distance to get a major, depending on the escapes and the outcomes of stall calls and reversals and things like that. So it definitely will be interesting. That's for sure.
3-point near fall. So we're keeping the 2, we're keeping the 4, we're adding the 3.
We're adding the 3.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that or not.
Yeah, it's going to be, again, it'll be definitely interesting to see how that works. I think another interesting one that's probably going to be more impactful than people think is a video review. If they go and review a call, they can score it the correct way now. Not just, hey, a coach is challenging this takedown, but maybe they missed, let's just say there was a locked hands or something in there that the ref didn't see. They can go back and put the right score of the sequence of action, kind of like what they do in freestyle right now, which is, I know there's a lot of more points being thrown up in freestyle, but I think you're going to see some of those calls that have an impact on a situation from a coach reviewing.
Still one available review until you get it wrong?
Yep, one available review. And, I think, let's say last year a ref called the takedown too soon. I think that's one that now they can still give the points. Things like that where ref held up the 2 before the takedown actually happened and they waved. And it's, you've seen it on both sides where we've lost takedowns or not gotten a takedown against us because of that. So I think it's the right thing to do for the athletes.
Hopefully not a lot of reviews though. I mean, let's just human error sometimes. You got to let it go, but
you got to let it go.
I do like one thing, no more hand touch takedowns.
Yeah.
I think that's a positive because those were always a little fishy.
They were. So I think they're all positive. I think they're all going to impact in a good way. And of course things will evolve and change, but it'll definitely be first couple months will be different.
Here's one. I'm sure this has been discussed. Top position must aggressively work to break down the opponent.
Yes.
Talk about something left up to interpretation there.
Yeah, that one's going to be a little challenging. That's going to be, we'll see if stall calls get thrown up there. And again, we're going to have to give it some time, see how officials are actively calling that. But, we're a team that likes to work on top, so I don't see too much effect on that. But I think it goes back to the more points you have, I think the more you're going to see some guys probably try to stall, as they get towards the end of the match because they can give up the points.
Think you guys will be communicating sometimes to cut a guy, go for the 3-point takedown rather than work on top? I mean,
yeah, if you're say you're up by 6 with a minute to go, one takedown is going to really make that happen for you.
What coach is the math guy on the bench to figure this all out fast?
Well, I'm good with numbers, so
okay.
We'll be analyzing all that.
There's going to be a lot of math going on.
There will be a lot of math.
Here's one. I know you love facial hair.
Yes.
No longer any limits.
That's good.
That's tremendous. Now,
I wish we had that back in the day.
You got to show the guy's personality a little bit.
I know. I agree.
I think we hit on the major ones. Was there anything you saw that didn't get passed that you think might be a positive going down the road and revisiting, or do you just kind of wait and see how this stuff all works out this year?
I'm just glad they didn't get rid of riding time. I know a lot of people are against the riding time, but I just think it's an important factor for college wrestling, and it rewards you for trying to work on top. So it's also motivation for the guy on bottom to get off.
Yep. I think there was some talk about every minute gets a point, but they decided
That
against
would
that
be
as
too
well.
much.
Okay.
That would be confusing.
Okay.
It'd be
We
boring.
don't need to
riding someone for 5 minutes would not be an entertaining match.
We do not need to confuse wrestling coaches anymore. They do that on their own. So,
Well, what about the fans like you? We can't confuse you
that's
anymore.
true. I am a fan now. Yeah. Now I know all the scoring now.
You do. It took 12 years, but you got it down.
Yes. Freestyle. I'm still learning too. Greco. Don't start me on Greco, but who's going with Isaac to Albania?
Tariq Wilson will be out there.
Okay.
So that'd be good. We got a busy week. You know, something to be noted. We got our golf outing this Friday, so we got a lot of people coming into town. I think.
How about at the Lonnie Pool Golf Course? That's great to get on campus and have the local golf course.
Yep, we got over 100 people signed up right now, so it'll be a good weekend for alumni coming back into town and playing a little golf, and hopefully come by and watch our practice at 3:15 on Friday.
And obviously, recruiting is all going on nonstop. I know you guys have a big recruiting weekend coming up. Can't talk about guys coming in, but recruiting, how's kind of that going on behind the scenes?
It's probably the busiest time of the year for recruiting. You know, as we're gearing up for the season, you got these weekends, whether you're on the road going out looking or you're bringing in kids to come here and see things firsthand. So yeah, we've had a lot of kids come through, and it's a critical time for us, and look forward to getting some of those commitments. And the following weekend will be another busy weekend, and huge tournament down in Greensboro Saturday and Sunday. So some of the best kids in the country will be right here in our backyard.
Super 32s. So
Super 32.
Always a great event.
It's Super 128 right now. Numbers in the bracket, but
it's a little bit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something else completed this summer. The locker room is finally done. Looks spectacular. How are the guys adjusting? How do you, as a head coach, how did the project come out?
Phenomenal. And we're thankful for the people that supported it, and administration stepping up and making that happen, because it's been really good, much needed. Looks very modern and clean in there, and you know, the guys have been putting in their time and work to continue to build and brand NC State wrestling. So I'm appreciative to all the people that have taken note of everyone's hard work here. And on top of the locker room, it's added a nice cardio section, which is getting used basically every day of the week. So it was a nice upgrade for us to have, and very appreciative to everyone that was involved in that project.
Love a good cardio area. Do you guys have the Jacob's Ladder? Is that still around over there?
It's right in the weight room.
I know.
Anytime you want to come by.
Coach Hall used to love that thing.
He's still on it. He might be on there right now from 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Pat, this was a great podcast. It's video.
It's great to see you. I haven't seen you in months.
Well, I was going to say, you will not answer my text unless I say, let's do a podcast. You came around. I asked you a bunch of other questions, no texting. I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. You are busy.
That is all lies, and I can't believe we're going there on a video. You wouldn't do that when we were on video, but now that we're on video, this is the lies we're going to get out of you.
I know. We'll try. That's the new me. But as Hayden would say, a successful Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast number 110, the very first video edition. I know I speak for Pat, myself. We were made to podcast. We had the faces for a podcast, but now we're coming to you kind of HD. I don't know what the numbers are for HD, but successful first podcast here.
I agree. Good job.
Can't thank the Wolfpack Wrestling Club enough. Many future episodes. Like I said, we're going to be talking to Isaac Trumbull before he heads to Albania. We're going to get Pat again to give a little bit of a season preview and just visiting with some different guys about life as an NC State wrestler. So I'm looking forward to this project that the RTC brought to us, Pat. It's a great new opportunity.
I agree. Appreciate everything you do for us.
Pat, thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing the podcast. Wolfpack Wrestling fans, be on the lookout for a new episode everywhere you find this great new video podcast. Until next time, Wolfpack Wrestling fans, go Pack.
Go Pack.